Hello, welcome to Uncanny Oddities. This is Season 3, Episode 2, and tonight we're going to be talking about why do civilizations fall? Well, there are many reasons why civilizations have fallen throughout history. Rome, for example, fell because they grew too big for their britches, as some people might say. Military expansionism and a poor economy were major contributing factors to the fall of Rome. They simply tried to expand so far that they simply didn't have the military power to defend themselves anymore, and their economy crumbled. They couldn't pay their soldiers, they couldn't pay anybody, and it just, kind of went downhill from there. And then we've got Atlantis and Lemuria. They fought nuclear war at the time. Uh, if you believe in those, because they are technically myths, although supposedly in the Atlantis lies somewhere near the Bimini Road. But we've been researching a lot about ancient civilizations and lost civilizations recently, and we just did an episode the other day on the ancient temple city of Bagan, and it's just got me kind of curious. Why do all these different cities fall, and why do they remain lost for such long periods of time before they were discovered again? Like, El Dorado, the city of gold. It was believed to be a myth for many, many years until it was actually discovered at one point in time. So there's just a lot going on in the world right now. And, without getting into it, with everything that we've been studying and researching, I feel like between war and economy are going to be major contributing factors to the fall of a civilization. And I would like to get everyone else's opinions if they have any opinions of their own. Oh, we have someone in the chat. Rhett Urban says, "Love the stream." Thank you very much. So we don't really have much of a plan tonight. We're just kind of here to discuss what everyone thinks about what leads to the fall of civilization. And do you think it is more based on the economy, more based on military expansionism, or do you think it's something else? Do you think maybe our civilization's just intended to fall? JC Deaton 4363, we are talking about what we believe are some of the different reasons that might lead to the fall of different civilizations and why they might be lost to time for such a long period of time. JC says the economy. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that because I'm pretty sure that was one of the major contributing factors that led to Rome. JC also says everything, which is, obviously, because over time, that was another thing I was going to ask everybody is what do you all think about the possibility that all civilizations are just guaranteed to fall at some point? No civilization can last forever. I mean, we've been through so many civilizations as it is. I believe we are the sixth or seventh generation of civilizations that have been throughout history, and with the most recent being Atlantis and Lemuria, obviously. And what one thing that really interests me about Atlantis is it's portrayed as myth, but there is quite a bit of evidence, although I will admit a lot of it is circumstantial evidence. But it's interesting to me that so many people just refuse to believe in the possibility of it. Uh, JC says because nobody likes to take care of stuff like animals, they just abuse them and stuff like people and stuff. Yeah, that's a serious issue, I think, is, a lot of people are very rude and cruel to each other. And if we would just accept that everyone is human at the end of the day, regardless of anything else, I think we could, do a lot more great things for this world if we would focus on, learning new things and learning how things work rather than focusing on things that divide everybody. Um, but for Atlantis and Lemuria, a lot of people don't believe in Atlantis, but I think there's a lot of stuff that makes me wonder because, as we know, eventually over time, everything erodes, everything gets buried under dirt and everything else. So, how do we know for a fact that there aren't other civilizations that haven't been lost to time? Because even like, I think I mentioned it briefly on the other episode the other day, is like radioactivity. So a lot of people think that there would be radioactive stuff in the dirt or whatever, and there would be for thousands of years, but even that would eventually disappear and fade away. Our buildings would crumble, the forest would take over, and that would happen faster than a lot of us think. I really feel like that would happen a lot faster than many of us think it would, myself included. Because if there's nobody here to destroy everything and, poison the planet and, cause all this harm, then I feel like the planet would grow a lot faster without humans here causing all the harm that they do. And maybe the planet could start to recover from some of the damage that humanity has done over the years if there were a lot less of us and we went and lived in caves and stuff like that. But that's crazy talk, right? you know. So I don't know. It just feels like we're close to something big. It feels like something major is going to happen between now and the early 2030s. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels like something big is going to happen. And I really, really hope that we have an expansion of people. Hey, Old 8 Gauge is here. Thank you, James. How you doing? Good to see you tonight. But I think that we're going to have an expansion of scholars and academics who actually go out of their way and try to seek knowledge in the coming years. I feel like the ice is starting to melt, and Antarctica is going to reveal a lot of secrets about civilizations that we thought were lost to history. I think the ice preserves things. It preserves bodies, it preserves minerals, it preserves microorganisms. There's all sorts of stuff preserved within ice. And with Antarctica being as much ice as it is, I think as that ice starts to melt, we're going to start to see a lot of interesting things come out of there. And, you know, I feel like as the ice starts to melt and these things are discovered, I feel like we're going to learn a lot more about what we once considered lost civilizations or maybe even mythological civilizations. James says he can feel something is going to happen, just hopes that it's good for mankind. And I agree because this could go one way or the other. And I'm very worried about that because, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom or whatever, but I just have a feeling that something big is going to happen at Antarctica over the next 5 to 10 years. And as this, starts to happen, we're going to learn a lot. And as a result, I think some of the stuff that we're going to learn about these ancient, lost slash mythological civilizations, I think we're going to learn some stuff that is going to make people become interested in academics and the pursuit of knowledge once again, because they're going to see something in these ancient, lost civilizations. And they're going to be like, oh, that's pretty interesting. For example, Egypt, the pyramids. We still to this day have no definitive answer for exactly what the pyramids were built for or what their true purpose was, like how they were even built. We have a lot of ideas and theories, but we don't know for a fact. We haven't proven anything. And same thing with what the rooms inside were used for. The common scientific accepted answer is that they were burial chambers or burial mounds, whatever. Okay, but even if they were, how did they build them? Those blocks, weigh over a ton. Like, it would take multiple cranes, modern day cranes, multiple of them, to lift one of these blocks. And they built all that. Chris Gonzalez says, "What about the viruses trapped in ice for millions of years?" That is a very, very good point, and I can definitely agree with you on that. That is definitely something that we're going to have to keep an eye on because there could be microorganisms in the trapped in the ice, like I said a minute ago, and there could be all sorts of viruses, as he said, and some of the stuff down there we may not have seen that literally in our lifetime. For all we know, there could be bubonic plague in there. Like, that's one of the crazy things. We don't know. We don't know what's in the ice. And that's what I'm personally so extremely curious about in Antarctica is I really, really want to know what's in that ice and what are they hiding because, you can believe what you want to believe, but I think they are definitely trying to hide something from the general public down there because they have a peace treaty down there. And I cannot understand why would they have a peace treaty there but nowhere else on the earth? Like only there can everyone universally agree to peace. So I don't understand, why they're able to agree to peace down there. And I think that division is one of the greatest things that leads to the fall of civilizations, getting back to our main topic. And at a point in time, a civilization will just start to crumble under its own weight because there's so much, animosity from one side towards another and from both sides towards each other, and Julius Caesar, was assassinated a long time ago. Julius Caesar was assassinated, and I think that was a big part of what led to the fall of Rome at the time. And after that, it just caused so much division amongst the people. The economy was poor, they couldn't pay their workers anything, and it was just a big domino effect that cascaded and led to what it led to, you know? So that's all I've really got for us tonight. Just a short episode to give us some things to think about. So at the end of the day, I just want everyone to remember that. Oh, hold on, before we quit, old 8 Gauge says, "Because the whole war thing enriches those who are in charge and gets rid of the sheeple." I can definitely agree with you on that, James. Thank you for showing up. And, I just wanted to say, at the end of the day, we're all human. So I know we may not always get along with each other. We may not always, love each other or agree with each other's ideas. But I do believe that there can be, good debate in a peaceful manner. And I don't believe that we have to be disrespectful or rude to each other. And we can still disagree in a respectful manner. Now, I love you all. And I hope you all can appreciate each other and accept each other. Thank you. And I will see you next time.